kid, the disaster we worried about most was a nuclear war. That's why we had a barrel like this down in our basement filled with cans of food and water. When the nuclear attack came, we were supposed to go downstairs, hunker down, and eat out of that barrel. Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes.
Saat saya kecil, bencana yang paling takuti adalah perang nuklir. Sehingga kami menyimpan drum di bawah tanah untuk menyimpan makanan dan minuman. Jadi ketika serangan datang, kami akan ke bawah untuk berlindung dan makan dari drum tersebut. Jika ada yang membunuh lebih dari 10 juta orang dalam beberapa dekade mendatang, kemungkinan besar itu adalah virus yang sangat menular, bukan rudal tapi mikroba.
Now, part of the reason for this is that we have invested a huge amount in nuclear deterrence, but we've actually invested very little in a system to stop an epidemic. We're not ready for the next epidemic. Let's look at Ebola. I'm sure all of you read about it in the newspaper. Lots of tough challenges. I followed it carefully through the case analysis tools we use to track polio eradication. And as you look at what went on, the problem wasn't that there was a system that didn't work well enough. The problem was that we didn't have a system at all.
Contohnya Ebola, banyak sekali tantangannya. Saya melihat analisis kasus polio dan seperti yang terlihat, masalahnya bukan dari sistem yang tidak berjalan dengan benar, melainkan sistem itu tidak ada.
In fact, there are some pretty obvious key missing pieces. We didn't have a group of epidemiologists ready to go who would have gone, seen what the disease was, see how far it had spread. The case reports came in on paper. It was very delayed before they were put online, and they were extremely inaccurate. We didn't have a medical team ready to go. We didn't have a way of preparing people. Now, Médecins Sans Frontières did a great job orchestrating volunteers, but even so, we were far slower than we should have been getting the thousands of workers into these countries. And a large epidemic would require us to have hundreds of thousands of workers.
Kita tidak memiliki sekelompok ahli epidemiologi yang siap berangkat, kita juga tidak memiliki tim medis yang siap diterjunkan, dan tidak memiliki cara bagaimana mempersiapkan orang-orang ahli ini. Médecins Sans Frontières berusaha mencari sukarelawan, tetapi kita terlambat. Karena epidemi ini, kita harus memiliki ribuan pekerja.
There was no one there to look at treatment approaches, no one to look at the diagnostics, no one to figure out what tools should be used. As an example, we could have taken the blood of survivors, processed it, and put that plasma back in people to protect them. But that was never tried. So there was a lot that was missing, and these things are really a global failure. The WHO is funded to monitor epidemics, but not to do the. Now in the movies, it's quite different. There's a group of handsome epidemiologists ready to go. They move in, they save the day, but that's just pure Hollywood. The failure to prepare could allow the next epidemic to be dramatically more devastating than Ebola.
Tidak seorang pun yang bisa menemukan obat, diagnosa, bahkan alat yang digunakan. Misalnya, ketika menghindari dari berita, prosesnya dia mengembalikan dia untuk melindungi orang tersebut. Tapi hal tersebut tidak pernah diuji. Hal ini benar-benar merupakan kegagalan besar. WHO sebagai pengawas dari epidemi tidak melakukan hal-hal tersebut. Tidak seperti dalam film Hollywood, sekelompok ahli epidemiologi yang selalu siap siaga untuk itu hanya ada di dalam film Hollywood.
Let's look at the progression of Ebola over this year. About 10,000 people died, and nearly all were in the 3 West African countries. There's 3 reasons why it didn't spread more. The first is there was a lot of heroic work by the health workers. They found the people and they prevented more infections. The second is the nature of the virus. Ebola does not spread through the air. And by the time you're contagious, most people are so sick that they're bedridden. Third, it didn't get into many urban areas, and that was just luck. If it gotten into a lot more urban areas, the case numbers would have been much larger. So next time we might not be so lucky. You can have a virus where people feel well enough while they're infectious that they get on a plane or they go to a market. The source of the virus could be a natural epidemic like Ebola, or it could be bioterrorism. And so there are things that would literally make things 1,000 times worse. In fact, let's look at a model of a virus spread through the air like the Spanish flu back in 1918.
Contohnya progres virus Ebola. Sekitar 10.000 orang meninggal dan semuanya berada di negara Afrika Barat. Ada alasan kenapa Ebola tidak menyebar secara luas. Pertama, tim medis yang siaga memberikan tunjukkan kepada orang terjangkit. Kedua, Ebola tidak menyebar di udara. Tiga, Ebola tidak sampai ke daerah perkotaan. Tapi itu hanya keberuntungan semata. Jika sampai ke daerah perkotaan, angka kasusnya bisa menjadi lebih besar.
So here's what would happen. It would spread throughout the world very, very quickly. And you can see there's over 30 million people die from that epidemic. So this is a serious problem. We should be concerned. But in fact, we can build a really good response system. We have the benefits of all the science and
Penyebarannya
technology.
sangat cepat. Virus ini sudah membunuh lebih dari 30 juta orang. Ini salah satu contoh yang mungkin akan terjadi di masa yang akan datang. Dari sini, kita berusaha membuat kemajuan dalam bidang teknologi dan medis.
We've got cell phones to get information from the public and get information out to them. We have satellite maps where we can see where people are and where they're moving. We have advances in biology that should dramatically change the turnaround time to look at a pathogen and be able to make drugs and vaccines that fit for that pathogen. So we can have tools, but those tools need to be put into an overall global health system, and we need preparedness.
Ya, ada HP untuk mencari dan menyebarkan informasi ke publik, peta satelit untuk melihat keberadaan seseorang, biologi untuk melihat dan membuat obat vaksin sesuai dengan takaran. Untuk itu, kita harus ada persiapan dalam sistem kesehatan global.
The best lessons, I think, on how to get prepared are, again, what we do for war. For soldiers, we have full-time, waiting to go. We have reserves that can scale us up to large numbers. NATO has a mobile unit that can deploy very rapidly. NATO does a lot of war games to check are people well-trained. Do they understand about fuel and logistics and the same radio frequencies? So they are absolutely ready to go. So those are the kinds of things we need to deal with an epidemic.
Yang terpenting, persiapan diri untuk perang. Kita memiliki tentara yang siap siaga, dan NATO memiliki unit seluler yang canggih. NATO harus diuji, apakah mereka terlatih dengan benar? Apa itu bahan bakar logistik, frekuensi radio yang sama? Jika mereka sudah tahu mengenai hal itu, tandanya mereka siap untuk berperang.
What are the key pieces? First is we need strong health systems in poor countries. That's where mothers can give birth safely, kids can get all their vaccines, but also where we'll see the outbreak very early on. We need a medical reserve corps. Lots of people who've got the training and background who are ready to go with the expertise. And then we need to pair those medical people with the military, taking advantage of the military's ability to move fast, do logistics, and secure areas. military, taking advantage of the military's ability to move fast through logistics and secure areas.
Kuncinya adalah negara kaya memberikan dana kepada negara yang miskin untuk persiapan pandemi ini. Dari sini kita dapat menyelamatkan nyawa dan memperlambat penyebaran virus secara global. Kedua, adanya perawatan dan vaksin. Dunia harus memperkuat sistem kesehatan agar militer.
We need to do simulations, germ games, not war games, so that we see where the holes are. The last time a germ game was done in the United States was back in 2001, and it didn't go so well. So far the score is germs 1, people 0. Finally, we need lots of advanced R&D in areas of vaccines and diagnostics. There are some big breakthroughs like the adeno-associated virus that could work very, very quickly.
Harus ada percobaan permainan kuman. Ini bukan perang, sehingga kita tahu kelemahannya. Percobaan ini pertama kali dilakukan di US, tetapi gagal. Sekarang skor 1-0. Kita harus meneliti dan mengembangkan vaksin dan diagnosis terkait dengan virus tersebut.
Now, I don't have an exact budget for what this would cost, but I'm quite sure it's very modest compared to the potential harm. The World Bank estimates that if we have a worldwide flu epidemic, global wealth will go down by over $3 trillion, and we'd have millions of deaths. These invest for significant benefits beyond just being ready for the epidemic. Primary health care, the R&D, those things would reduce global health equity and make the world more just as well as more safe. So I think
Saya tidak tahu seberapa biayanya, yang pasti biayanya lebih kecil daripada risikonya. Jika virus ini menyebar, Bank Dunia akan mengalami bangkrut dengan tingkat kematian yang tinggi. Bukan hanya persiapan diri, tetapi perawatan kesehatan primer harus diratakan supaya adil dan aman. Investasi seperti ini sangatlah berarti sekali.
this should absolutely be a priority. There's no need to panic. We don't have to hoard cans of spaghetti or go down into the basement. But we need to get going because time is not on our side. In fact, if there's one positive thing that can come out of the Ebola epidemic, it's that it can serve as a early warning, a wake-up call to get ready. If we start now, we can be ready for the next epidemic. Thank you.
Ya. Intinya, kita tidak panik. Tidak perlu menimbun kaleng spaghetti atau tinggal di bawah tanah. Kita harus terus berjalan walau kita tidak tahu kapan itu terjadi. Buktinya, virus Ebola sudah kita lewati. Itu menjadi peringatan agar kita waspada. Jika sekarang siap, maka wabah berikutnya kita lebih siap. Terima kasih.